Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video in my series Personal Diaries. This is Personal Diaries number 4, and I recently asked a question in my new Facebook group called Keren, Tamir and Friends Creative Space, and I asked this question about what would be something personal that I could talk about that most people do not want to talk about, and I got many suggestions from many different artists and crafters, and I want to share one more with you today. When we have so little time to create because we have so many other things going on around us, whether it is our job, our children, our spouses, household chores, or basically anything, and we kind of feel guilty to just go and create when there are so many things that we should be doing instead. So I want to talk a little bit about that because truthfully, I'm almost sure that everybody goes through this, and it's really hard, and it's been really hard to balance that myself because I've gotten many comments where I say, oh, you're at home, why don't you just, why don't you do the laundry? Why aren't you doing dinner? Why aren't you choosing to do the dinner in the morning where you instead of creating? And it's very hard because I'm creating from home, it doesn't seem as if I have a job per se, that 9-to-5 job that everybody that a lot of people have. So it kind of looks odd because even though I'm working so many hours, sometimes more hours than a 9-to-5 person, because I basically try to fit things in whenever I can, it is so difficult. And I know that many people go through this, especially those that work in the industry, because they need to kind of fit everything in one place. Now, for those of you who have little children, it's even more difficult, or those of you who have like a 9-to-5 job on top of this and they still do this on the side, that's even more difficult because basically you're either just creating at night or creating on the weekend. And I find that I get my most things done during the day, during the week, because at no weekends, I'm basically busy driving my kids back and forth. My daughter has a lot of extracurricular activities, same as in the afternoons. So I really barely get time to do that during the day. During the afternoons or on the weekends. I more get that time where she's at school that I'm able to do that. But for those of you who work during the day, that must be hard as well. So how to balance that? And I can only tell you what worked for me, and every person's different, and I would love to hear your comments on what kind of things work for you and what kind of things it would be interesting to hear all your ideas and comments and suggestions. So one of the things that has worked for me is working during the day when my kids are at school, and that really has made a difference. But that's a luxury that I have, and that I know that some people don't. So on those days that I cannot do that, what I do is that while I'm watching TV at night, I'll take my computer and I'll edit videos. So maybe I'm not working in my creating projects in my art room, but I will be editing videos, and that takes a lot of that bulk time that I need to do that. So many times what I'm doing is that I'm basically doing 3 things at once. While I'm cooking, I'm also editing videos, I'm also designing stamps, I'm also talking on the phone with suppliers. So there's so many things going on. It's really hard to kind of juggle everything, but that's what it is with job. You have to multitask. So I find that if I can create in the morning, one of the things that I've said is that I kind of push myself to go and sit down on my desk, because that really makes a difference. If I don't sit down and I don't do that, then I'm just not going to create, because I'm going to get lost in all the other things that I have to do. I try to do the dishes first thing in the morning, and anything little that I have to do after I drive my kids to school. But after that, I try to dedicate that for that time. If I had to reverse that and it was, for example, at night, then what I would do is I would wait until my kids go to bed, and then I would do that. For little kids, right, they go to bed earlier. My kids are older, they're teenagers, so they're kind of self-sufficient. So I can go ahead and let them do their thing and work in the evening sometimes as well. But it does feel guilty because many times my daughter says, oh, why don't you spend some time with me? I'm sitting there editing a video and she's just walking by, and she gets annoyed that I'm not spending time with her. Same with the weekend. Sometimes I'm working throughout the weekend, or I take her to her cheerleading, and I'm sitting there in the waiting room, basically editing videos and doing things that I can do, because I can maximize my time that way. So I do feel that I take away from that time that I could be spending with my kids, and it's really hard because it's not a set time and I can't juggle that. I end up like giving up on other things. So I really try to set some time up to spend with my kids, and the weekends usually I don't get a lot done unless my husband is the one who takes care of driving back and forth. I usually take that role, and that's when I can spend my time with my kid, even talking to her, because she's a teenager. She doesn't want me to play little games anymore, but even just talking to her and see how her day was. So I pick her up and take her to school. That gives me time to do that as well, so it really helps in that respect. But I do hear this from a lot of creators, that they have a really hard time juggling everything and they feel really guilty when that happens. So I would love to hear your suggestions on what you think something is, and basically stop feeling guilty. This is either whether it's your job or you're doing it as a hobby. It's something that helps your creative soul, helps your emotions, calms you down, and I wouldn't give it up just because of that. So I try to kind of schedule things according to where I'm going with the appointments that I have or taking my kids, and I basically try to work in between everything else. So I don't have a set schedule, and that's okay with me. I rather do that than miss time with my kids or miss time creating. So if I can do that both, then I'm happy about that. And as my kids become more and more independent, of course I will have more and more time. So that's great. So for those of you who has little kids, or for those of you who have a job, just don't, as long as you find a little bit of time to create, that's so important. It doesn't matter when. Just do it because you love it and because you want to. And even if you create one little thing and you come back to it in the next day, that's okay too. Leave it on your desk or put it away, or get yourself like a little tray that you can put things in, and that's good as well. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear your comments and what kind of things help you create, and what kind of things, how you schedule things around. I also use my iPhone a lot to kind of schedule things so I know when things are going on. And yeah, that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Also, I have my personal group that is called Keren, Tamir and Friends Creative Space. I'd love for you to join and share your inspirations from some of my videos, or from my projects, or even from my products. So I will link that below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe and hit the little bell button beside my name, and that way you could get notified every time I upload a video. So thank you so much, everyone, and please share this in social media, because I really think that if it can help you, then it can help many other people to kind of know how to not feel guilty when you have to schedule things around things that you need to do and things that you want to do, and it just kind of find a balance between them. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.